Oh, Reaganomics. I was looking for, what was it? The change in tax rates or something. Yeah, I was looking for some simple graphic that had to do with Reaganomics the other day, and I stumbled across the Reaganomics Wikipedia page. And Shane, if you can pull up the clip of John Kennedy talking about how in the 1960 debates about how he was going to raise taxes. It's the Kennedy-Nixon debate. And this is, I've told you before the story of, being in right-wing think tanks here in Washington, D.C. and seeing a whole bunch of computers all dialed into Wikipedia. And it's, here they're talking about Reaganomics, and it says, before Reagan's election, supply-side policy was considered unconventional by the moderate wing of the Republican Party, though in reality, John F. Kennedy, in his 1963 State of the Union address, proposed substantial reduction in marginal tax rate as well as in reduction in corporate tax rate. Yeah, but it wasn't Reaganomics.
I think it's possible to gain a $700 million to $1 billion
gain
in tax changes, which I believe would close up loopholes on dividend withholding, on expense accounts.
And then he talks about how he'd use that money. Here he is.
So in my judgment, we would spend more money in this administration on aid to education. We'd spend more money on housing. We'd spend more money, and I hope more wisely, on defense than this administration has done. Mr. Nixon misstates my figures constantly, which of course, is right. But the fact of the matter is, here is where I stand, and I just want to have it on the public record.
The reality is that Jack Kennedy, go back to the Nixon-Kennedy debates. Jack Kennedy was basically saying, yeah, the top tax rate's 91%. Nobody pays that because, over the years, over the last generation and a half or so, rich people and politicians and Republicans have drilled so many holes in the tax code. He said, let's tighten up the tax code. Let's do away with the loopholes so that people, like Jack Kennedy himself, multimillionaires, billionaires probably in today's dollars, actually start paying taxes. It was the opposite of Reaganomics. But don't tell that to Wikipedia. And a lot of these sources, they go back to books written by right-wingers or by right-wing think tanks. And, oh, yeah, it's in print, so it must be true. It's really quite remarkable. I keep finding this. I find this on stuff like Smoot-Hawley. I find this on History of the Great Depression. It's the very subtle right-wing hand.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
And here's the tragedy. The right-wingers have the money and, to just pay people to do this. Left, not so much. And all over America, there's high school kids who are using this stuff for their term papers.